Hey guys, welcome to part 4 of my Crypto 101 video series. In this video, I'll be showing you how you can use decentralized exchanges, which are also known as DEXs, to swap and trade tokens that are built on the layer 1 ecosystems that I discussed in the last video. Ecosystems like Ethereum, Polygon, Solana, Mata, AVAX, etc. So if you're unfamiliar with DEXs, they're all pretty much the same across all of the layer 1 ecosystems. So if you learn how to use one of them, you basically know how to use all of them. So to show you what I mean, this here is PancakeSwap. It's the main DEX on Binance Smart Chain. This is Uniswap. This is the main DEX on Ethereum. This is 1inch, another DEX on Ethereum. QuickSwap, this one's on Polygon, and Trader Joe, this one's on Avalanche, and I could go on, but you can see they're all pretty much the same. They're a little bit different aesthetically, but basically the same idea across the board. Now, using a DEX is pretty straightforward, but before I get into the details on actually swapping your tokens, I need to first talk about how to find these tokens and how to determine which layer 1 network you should be using to buy the tokens that you want. So the top two cryptocurrency websites that I like to use are CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko. Now these are essentially the same website, like they have the same information almost across the board, so it's more just a preference of which interface you prefer. I personally prefer CoinMarketCap, so that's the site I'll be using for the rest of this video. So let's say that you watched a YouTube video and your favorite influencer was talking about a coin and you wanted to buy that coin. So let's say you wanted to buy the Super Farm token. I'm gonna search in the search bar here, Super Farm, and you can see it pops up right here. So I'm gonna click that token, and down here you can get all sorts of information, the charts, everything else, yada, yada, yada. But what's really important when you're actually looking to buy these tokens is this right here, the contract address of the token. If I click the More button, you can see that this token is actually available on 3 layer 1 networks. I can buy it on Ethereum, I can buy it on Binance Smart Chain, and I can buy it on the Polygon network. Now, it doesn't really matter which network you buy the token on. You're still buying the same underlying asset. When a token does first launch at the very beginning, there can be some price differences between the different networks that it's on, but that arbitrage opportunity typically doesn't last long, and over time, the prices will be exactly the same over all of the different networks that it shares. The most important thing to consider when choosing which network to choose a token on is the gas fees associated with using that network. If you're not already aware, Ethereum gas prices are insane right now. On average, I pay between 40 and 120 USD for every single transaction that I execute on the Ethereum blockchain. And if there's a competitive mint or just a lot of volume in general on the Ethereum network at the time when you want to make your transaction, these fees can be even higher. The highest fee I have personally paid for an Ethereum transaction was over 2,000 USD. I can actually pull up the Etherscan transaction history to show you this. You can see that transaction went through 39 days ago. It was to mint the Fox Game NFT project. And if I scroll down here, you can see the value of the NFTs that I was buying was about $2,700, whereas the gas fee that I had to pay to get those NFTs was over $2,100. Another website which I find really interesting and depressing to check is ethfees.xyz. You can input your address here and it will actually tell you exactly how much you spent on gas fees over the lifetime of your wallets. And I've been using this particular wallet for about 3 months now, 4 months maybe, and I've spent over 12 grand on gas fees alone. That's completely disgusting. And bear in mind that the price of ETH has dropped a bunch this month. So last month, I think the actual total cost of my transactions were closer to 16 to 18,000 USD. So it's pretty obvious that if you can avoid transacting on ETH, you should do so, especially if you're dealing with smaller position sizes, because it just doesn't make sense to buy $1,000 worth of a token on Ethereum, knowing that you're going to have to pay between $200 and $400 in transaction fees alone, because that means your original investment would have to appreciate by 20 to 40% just for you to break even. Now, while 20 to 40% gains happen all the time in crypto, it still makes sense to avoid those fees if possible, which brings us back to the other networks. Right now, Ethereum is the most expensive layer 1 to use by a long shot. All of the other layer 1s only cost dollars to pennies for every transaction you make, which is the main reason in the last video why I showed you how to bridge your funds from Ethereum into these other layer 1s. So if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and give it a watch. So using a DEX is pretty straightforward. To start, we just have to connect our wallet up at the top here. We're using MetaMask, so I'm going to click that and boom, we are already connected. Like I said before, PancakeSwap is a decentralized exchange on the Binance Smart Chain. So if we hadn't set up the Binance Smart Chain on our MetaMask wallet, like we did in the last video, up here you can see we're on the Binance Smart Chain, then this wouldn't have connected correctly. You can see if I go to the Ethereum mainnet here, and let me disconnect for a second, and then I'll connect my wallet again. And right now I'm on the Ethereum here, and you can see that, yes, no, I'm gonna cancel that. That's for a different one, cancel. You can see that PancakeSwap is asking me to switch the network to Binance Smart Chain because I'm on Ethereum right now. So I can click that and that'll automatically switch me over to the Binance Smart Chain. Or like I just did, I can cancel that and I can go boom, Binance Smart Chain, and now we're all connected up correctly. You always have to match the network that you're on to the decentralized exchange that you're using when you want to trade tokens using that DEX. But going back to the Superfarm token, which we want to purchase, you can see that Superfarm in particular is listed on Ethereum, on the Binance Smart Chain, as well as on Polygon. Now, since we've only got $50 or so in our MetaMask account, we obviously don't want to be buying this on Ethereum, so we're actually going to go ahead and choose the Binance Smart Chain to purchase these Superfarm tokens. So first step, I'm going to copy the address for the Superfarm token on the Binance Smart Chain by clicking this button right here. Next, I'm going to head back to PancakeSwap, and I'm going to click this drop down right here and paste in that address. And you can see that the Superfarm token comes up. So I'm going to import that into my PancakeSwap account. And click I understand and import. Now, before I exchange my BNB for the Superfarm token, it's worth mentioning that this is the process you should follow for every single token you buy on any decentralized exchange. There are a ton of scammers out there, and it's very, very easy on these layer ones to duplicate tokens, give them the same name as the original token, and trick people into buying them. You don't want to be a person that buys into these scams, so I always suggest finding the correct contract address, just like we did using CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, pasting it in here, finding the correct token, and using that rather than just blindly trusting whatever ticker comes up here. So with all that said, let's go ahead and swap our BNB for some Superfarm tokens. You can see here the balance in my wallet is 0.083, which I can confirm by clicking here, 0.083 BNB. And so I'm going to swap 0.04 BNB for 16.9 Superfarm. Now remember, you always need to leave an additional balance of the layer 1 cryptocurrency that you're using, which in our situation here is BNB, in order to cover the gas/transaction fees, which is why I'm only trading 0.04 BNB. That'll leave me with a 0.043 BNB left in my wallet after all these transactions go through, which should be plenty to cover additional transactions that I want to make. So I'm not stuck being unable to sell my Superfarm when I want to sell it, because when I swap my Super back into BNB, that's going to require more gas in the form of BNB. Alright, so it looks like PancakeSwap actually just changed around their user interface while I was filming this video. That's why that chart's missing now and things look a little bit different. But regardless, it's still the same DEX that we're using, so I'm going to go ahead and click swap and confirm swap. And now I'm going to have to sign the transaction fee saying that yes, I am authorizing this transaction to go through. So I'm going to go ahead and click confirm. You can see the gas fee is like basically nothing. Confirm. And now my transaction is submitted, and I just got to wait for that to go through and arrive in my wallet. All right, so you can see that the transaction went through. It's been about probably 10 seconds. And now if I go to my wallet, you can see that, oh no, there's no Superfarm in there, because what we have to do in order to see tokens in your MetaMask wallet is you have to add them manually. So if we go back to the Superfarm listing on CoinMarketCap, I can't remember if this is still on my clipboard, so I'm going to copy it again. Then I'm going to go to my MetaMask wallet, scroll down, hit import tokens, and then paste that contract address in there. You can see that everything auto fills, add custom token, import tokens, and now you can see that the Superfarm is visible in my MetaMask wallet. It was there the whole time. I just hadn't told MetaMask yet that I actually wanted to see my balance and the values for this specific token in there. So if you buy something and it's not showing up, don't freak out. You probably just haven't added the token yet to your MetaMask wallet. All right, so now that we've successfully bought Superfarm tokens, let's go ahead and sell these tokens so you can see how that process works. It's very similar to buying. All you're gonna have to do is click this button right here to swap the values. You can see we're going from Superfarm back into BNB. I'm gonna go ahead and click max. And one thing to note is that the first time you go to sell a token on any decentralized exchange, you are first going to have to allow that decentralized exchange, give them the ability and the permissions to sell that token on your behalf. That's what this button is right here. This only happens the first time that you sell a token. Once you enable it once for the token that you're selling, you won't have to enable it for that specific token in the future if you want to sell more of it. So I'm going to go ahead and click enable super, and here we go. Transaction fee is like 11 cents. Confirm. and I'm going to wait for that to go through. All right, so that transaction just went through. And like I said before, I have not yet swapped my tokens. I've just given PancakeSwap the permission to swap tokens on my behalf. So now I'm going to go ahead and actually swap these tokens, confirm swap, and I'm going to confirm it in my MetaMask here. Boom, confirm, transaction submitted. And there we go, it's gone through. And if I close all this down, you can see that I have my 0.08 BNB back in my wallet, 0 super farm, and we've lost about 0.0015 BNB from all of these transaction fees, which is not a lot, especially when compared to the ETH transaction fees. So a couple things to note about buying tokens in general. If you want to find better charts for your tokens, there's a great tool called DEXtools.io, which I use on a daily basis. If I go back to the CoinMarketCap listing here, and let's say I copy the Ethereum address for the Superfarm token, I can go to DEXtools and I can paste that address up here. And once it loads, there we go, I'm gonna click Superfarm. That's the top one that shows up. And here we have an accurate chart for the Superfarm price. You'll notice a lot, especially on smaller tokens that are not as established, that number one, CoinMarketCap lags significantly. It's not actual live data. There's, I'm gonna say like 5 to 15 minute delay on their prices sometimes. This is always up to date, as well as coins and tokens that have not made it to CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, or similar can always be found using DEX tools. It's universal. Basically every token on these blockchains can be found using DEX tools. So it's my go-to when I'm trying to accurately track the price of a token that I'm interested in. Now, another important thing to note, if we go back to PancakeSwap here and click on settings, is that every decentralized exchange that you use will have a thing called slippage tolerance. Now, I'm not an expert on slippage, but you typically want to keep your slippage at about 0.5%. I've found to be the best value. Slippage is essentially the maximum price difference that you'd be willing to accept based on what PancakeSwap or whatever DEX you're using shows you here and what you actually receive in your wallet once the transaction goes through. Most of the time, you'll be totally fine using 0.5% slippage or even 0.1% slippage if the price of the token that you're trading for is not wildly swinging around and being completely insanely volatile. Now, there are some instances where you may want to set your slippage higher if you want to get out of your positions fast and ensure that the transactions go through. So you can do that manually here just by entering a value in right there. Now, you never want to forget about this and leave your slippage at a high value. You only want to use this feature intentionally, because if you do leave your slippage high, your transaction may be front run by bots, which essentially means that bots will jump in front of your transactions and guarantee that you pay the extra 12% or whatever you set this value at. You can see sometimes in charts, you'll see like a massive spike upwards, like that lasts for 5 seconds. That's often because people have set their slippage very high, forgotten about it, and then when they go to make another transaction, a bot jumps in and drives up the price of the token, allowing the bot to pocket and profit that percentage difference and leaving you short-handed. So to reiterate, just always keep your slippage at 0.1%, or even better, what I would recommend is 0.5%. This will ensure that your transactions go through smoothly and you don't get front-run by bots and lose your money. So that is it for this video. Hopefully now you have a better understanding of decentralized exchanges. You can see that if I swap between all of these exchanges, they're all literally the same thing. They just look slightly different. And so it's just a matter of adding the network to your MetaMask. If you wanted to transact on, say, the Avalanche network, you would just add that network to your MetaMask like I showed you in the last video. And then everything from there is going to be exactly the same, except instead of BNB as your base layer 1 token, it's going to be AVAX because you're using the Avalanche ecosystem. Again, I always recommend checking over on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko just to see which networks the token you want to buy is available on, to avoid Ethereum if possible, especially if you're using a smaller account size, so you don't have to pay those crazy transaction fees. So that is it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video where I will be going over how to use Etherscan more effectively, Etherscan, BSC scan, all the scans that are out there more effectively, how to see blockchain transactions, how to interact with it, and just have a better overall understanding of how this stuff works so you can make better decisions and have more insight into everything that's going on in the crypto space. I'll see you there.